So I'll just give you a quick recipe of what I was doing with the fish. So we take rice water, we take rice and water to make and mix it with milk to make a lactobacillus. Uh, and then what we do is we add a little bit of molasses for preservative. And then what we do is we mix that again with our fish. And our fish ingredient, it's actually called a protein hydrolysate. It doesn't, but fish is the best one. So fish is giving you a wide variety and high levels of amino acids, which is really what you're doing, what you're feeding the plant, right? Which is really what the plant eats. The plant does not eat nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium. I don't know how they've come up with the conclusion, because when you get phosphorus and potassium, it's a rock that's been treated with hydrochloric acid, so to break it down further. So you're not going to find hydrochloric acid in the soil at those concentrations to continue it to break it down. Now it does break down in the soil over time, mostly with water and the microbiology eating away at it. But the current practice of this is at one time I guess it was a waste product, but now it's, I think you can buy fertilizer kind of cross for those heavy macronutrients at $2,000 a ton. So it's really become economically unviable for larger operations, larger scaled operations. Yeah. So I ran all my fish through a leaf blower, through a leaf chopper, and I filled the barrel, and we're putting in. Let me give you the recipe here if I can find it. We're putting in so if I've got a 200-liter barrel, or about 50 gallon, and half of it is the pure protein biomass, so the fish in this case, then water, and then I put 16 liters of the LAB into it, lactobacillus mix, and then some molasses as well, so for preservative. So I'm going to let that ferment for 4 weeks, 4 to 6 weeks, and then I'm going to use that as a foliar spray on crops. So we'll be able to hit those crops probably 2 or 3 times over 400 or 500 acres. So we'll have a great opportunity to stimulate some microbiology in there. And that's taken. I just have to add this. That's taken and used in. Blended in what's called an airlift vortex, and we grow that for 24 hours in a tea, and then apply it onto the field.
So I got a question. With this fish hydrolysis process, can you avoid the need to do crop rotation, as I've seen other farmers do?
We don't do that. We would still do it. We wouldn't have to necessarily. So, I can go through some of the practices that we do to add variety. So there's an idea of quorum sensing that we're getting into. So intercropping is relating to that. So very similar to this is just basically like, I don't know if you've heard of the Three Sisters approach. So the Three Sisters, the Three Sisters are like a squash or a brassica, a legume, and then a grass. So we're trying to recreate a lot of that, those concepts, which are ancient concepts, and Three Sisters is the one that is come to mind for me. So what you're doing with intercropping, which is like leaving different varieties in the field at the same time, you can get away without a large crop rotation. But if you're just putting like a monocrop in, you probably should get out of there eventually within a couple years. So for example, we have a field of clover. We're going to leave that clover for 2 years, but we're going to use it to get into corn in a couple years. But yeah, it's a lot. That's a larger management question, but yes, you can get away from crop rotation but you're going to be growing different plants in different places all the time anyway in order to
Yeah.
maintain soil health.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's what I was working on last night. That's something that's exciting that we're doing. We're a dairy farm primarily, but we have to grow food for our animals. So that's basically what we're doing it for. And what we're finding, the research is showing, is that the animals are a lot healthier because the plants are a lot healthier because the microbiome is a lot healthier. So we're looking to produce a food that's more nutrient dense from healthier animals. That's really why we're into this. And we've really seen a decline in animal health in the last 10 years. A lot of more interventions are being prescribed to our animals. And in understanding terrain theory a lot better, I'm understanding that the animals just need better feed, more natural feed, in order to compete with the bugs that are out there. Instead of being like a weak animal, we need to have nutrient dense food to feed them. So that's really what I want to do is just have a really good healthy plant in order to feed our animals.
Yeah. And it makes a lot of sense. It's like, yeah, if there's these nutrients are lacking for them, but it's similarly for us as humans also the case, because if they're lacking it and the plants are lacking it, then we're lacking it too. If we would eat, like, I don't know, cow or any plant or something like that. So that's very, very good. And it's good to hear that, like, that things are already being done. So now it's not so doom and gloom as some people might think. Just
Yeah, I think
nice.
it's a lot better than the mainstream wants to let us know. It's just nobody's talking about it, because you guys are busy doing it. You're out there working really hard, making it happen,
Yeah.
and people just got to talk about it. I think, because I know a lot of farmers around here that do crop rotation, and they might know about this fish hydrolysis process. I'll let them know because that sounds awesome.
It
That's a really
does.
cool thing. But
Yeah.
maybe they can't get fish easily around here or something because I'm deep in the mountains. It might not be a thing, but it's definitely
It's a,
worth mentioning.
I'm not saying it's legal. I'm just saying it happened. We'll put it that way.
Right
But
on.
I wasn't putting it. I understand why the law is in place, but I wasn't putting at jeopardy any native fish population. So what I did was, did my research, and I said, all right, these are invasive species. Um, they're fished at a mass this time of year. You can harvest them fairly easily, and put them to use, put them into production. So uh, in fact, I think the USDA is starting to get onto this where you're allowed to go in. So like if there's an invasive species in your area, and there are a lot of them, right, due
Yeah.
to stupid models and people playing stupid games, right? So
Right.
winning stupid. These are the stupid prizes we win. So
Right.
we get so like carp or whatever it is. As an invasive species, you can harvest those and put those into a compost system wherever you are, or any protein can be used. For example, like if you have dead animals, are a great source uh, of biology, of food for the biology. So you can if you've composted any dead animals within a week in a good temperature in the summer, nothing's gone. The bones are left. Then what you can do is you can bake the bones and use that as a. So right now, another thing I've got cooking is I've got some eggshells. I cook some eggshells and I put vinegar in it, and then we're using that as a water soluble calcium. So you can do that as a calcium source for your plants as well. But
Excellent.
anybody can do this. A lot of these, whatever you want to call it, Korean natural farming or bioferment stimulants and biofertilizers, anybody can do it. It's just, getting your hands on it and having some scale and and taking the opportunity. And yeah, it's pretty fun stuff. I'm enjoying it a lot.
For the entire episode, please check out the description or click on the end screen. And maybe see you next time.